Everyone, welcome back to another episode of Attack on Productions. Fluff here. We've got another game for you. Joining me today, I've got Jimmy, Jake, and Trevor.
Howdy.
What's going on, y'all?
Hello.
And today we've got Jake piloting his version of the TN deck, and we've got Trevor piloting his version of Frieza Planet Wrecker. So, hope you enjoy. Before we get into the game, make sure to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And also, I would just like to mention before we get started that during the last video, Jimmy had reported that Bancroft, passed away from a severe case of ED. It came to our attention that he didn't pass away from it. He just passed his test positive for it. So, please begin.
I almost forgot to set my life, so Trevor almost won this game before the game even started. So that's something.
That would have been quite nice. Because it feels like every time that I play against green at this shop, I just lose. I've got to figure out how to do it, because I just haven't figured out how to get around it.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah, well,
I think that's one of the fastest spoilers we've gotten so far.
It ain't.
I think the record is like 34 seconds in, so we're at like a minute 30 in.
All right.
I'll beat that record one day.
So, I guess, Trevor, tell us a little bit about the inspiration of the deck. What was your take? What were you trying to do with the deck? Walk us through it.
Yeah, so I kind of always liked this deck. I played it, then the set it came out, enjoyed it, lost a lot with it, tweaked it, got a little bit better, proceeded to lose a lot more with it the following week, and just kind of set it down and said I'd come back to it later, and never came back to it. So I picked it up again this week. I tried fusing the Frieza's army with Frieza Clan, and it just kind of clogged up the deck, but I just really like the swap chain that you can do with it, and the King Cold card in this archetype is just so good that really just enjoy playing it. It's a nice change of pace from playing blue every week.
Absolutely.
And Jake, that turn one is just disgusting.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a lot until you're playing against it, and it's just so gross to play against.
Well, he did everything right. He got his hand size low enough to where trading blows wouldn't hit him, but I was still able to just put a card in his hand from life and just completely snowball from there.
Now, the Jake, we've seen Bancroft's TN deck. How is yours differing from his?
Well, it's got a lot of mean stuff in it.
Okay.
We talk a lot about hand control and how powerful of a strategy we as a channel feel like it is, even if it's not popular in the meta right now, although a TN did just top a recent event.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to say? That was more of like a TN Maidens list, which was really interesting, and mine is more of like a Green TN's Toolbox, as opposed to a World Martial Arts theme deck like Bancroft's version, which was still quite potent, or the new TN Maidens that's running around. And here I forgot to activate my leader effect turn one, which almost really screwed me because I drew the Chaozu, and if I wasn't able to go get the other one, if the other one was in life, that would have really been quite embarrassing on camera.
Oh, it's happened before.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it just happens, because I'm assuming you run that Chaozu at a 2-0.
Correct.
Yeah.
And searchable cards that are always searchable and you need for a singular function in your deck, I don't think you ever need to go deeper than 2. I mean, if they're both stuck in your life, that's just variance. And if you find yourself needing more than 2, then perhaps the card is more important than you feel like it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if it just becomes a charge target after it does that one little thing that you need it to do.
Exactly. Like in my TN list, any Chaozu I see beyond the first immediately gets thrown to the energy area, and if I remember to do it very often, the Chaozu I grab is my charge on turn 2, just to remove some of the mental math from my game.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've said it in our videos a lot, but this Bardock Unison, I'm glad to see it in a lot more topping green decks recently, especially these TN profiles, and it actually getting the love that it's truly deserves because it's just such insane value. Your turn or your opponent's turn, being able to stop their combos, on top of the fact that trading Blow Sun Goku turn 1 play drops a card, and then you blow it up and they drop another card. It's just such a good unison. Very underrated, but I'm glad it's finally kind of starting to creep up.
I feel like green is like kind of the master of unisons. Like almost every unison in green is just like straight gas. Where, there's very powerful unisons in the other colors, such as, Baby Zeno. Yellow has the Yellow Vegeta, which is one of the better unisons in the meta right now. It combats, Dark Broly, Red Broly, even TN to an extent, because you're cheating out some pretty high cost cards that are very powerful for little energy.
Yeah.
But green, like every unison has its place and will fit into its particular deck and fill its particular niche. And in some cases, like the Bardock Unison, it excels past that, where it's a fantastic hand control unison, it's a fantastic combo control unison, and it has the ability to end games with its minus effect. Like, there's a lot of talk right now about Demigra and how powerful Demigra is as a unison, and how it's pretty much a permanent unison that it's so difficult to remove, and you're having to deal with a charismatic villain. But then something like Bardock shows up, and it is just daunting to get over that unison.
And when you're building a green deck, it's always a struggle. Do I play Demigra? Do I play Bardock? And I think in TN, it's just an absolute no-brainer to play Bardock because there's so many one-drops in the list already. Demigra
Exactly.
kind of gets clogged into a slot that there's just no space for him. And then Bardock turns all of those one-drops into offense in a way that other other lists you couldn't use those one-drops for that. See, here I get to go get a battle card for free, make him pitch a card, go up a marker on my unison. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Just insanely good value. And our topic on the unisons, talk briefly and get back to the game. I've talked a lot about Bio Broly in green and how it is a fantastic unison that would be a no-brainer to shove into any deck outside of the color green. But there's so many better options in green. So like even the worst unisons, air quotes, are still fantastic options. And what value off of TN there? All those tokens for just free.
It's kind of like a draw 3.
Yeah.
I really think that it is that green right now is a systemic symptom of where green has not been doing much over the history of the game. I mean, the last extremely successful green deck we saw was the set 6 Brawly. I mean, there was a couple like multicolor that included some green components, but when you look at like green and what green really wants to do, there hasn't been a lot when you compare to the success that blue has had, or yellow, or red, or black. So green just keeps getting this ever ramping, like, well, it obviously just needs some better stuff. So we're going to print extremely powerful effects on cards, and there haven't been good central strategies to use with all those extremely good green cards. And so now we're kind of seeing the payoff to that, because Tien is extremely versatile as a leader. We've got Turles, which was really good, Majin Vegeta, Turn 2 Han. There's just a ton of really good green leaders right now. They can take advantage of it. And then there's a lot of leaders that people are sleeping on too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like we're eventually going to hit critical mass with the color, and it's going to either bust itself and it's going to end up getting a piece of it banned, or it's going to bust the game to where everybody's just playing green because it's just the best color. And with every color kind of creeping in and kind of getting like where it's perfect that you played Topo, where Topo was exclusive to red. You didn't really have a card similar to Topo. Like Nimbus was similar, but didn't do what Topo did.
Right.
But now where other colors are starting to get, cards similar to Topo, that takes the value away from the original colored red. Where you ran red because you got to play Topo. Now that other colors have it, what's the point of playing red now? You just play the other colors.
I see your point that a lot of the tools that green has have exclusively remained in green, where other colors have had a little bit more homogenization.
Yeah.
You see more discard in black now too, which I think black is starting to encroach on green's design space a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anytime I play against Gogeta Zeno, it's you realize how much hand control is inside it.
That deck's just crazy. Like it's such a fun deck to play against too, which is another point about green. And it's like green's just not fun to play against in those cases, like at all.
Especially this hand control like toolbox style of deck, where most of my deck is meant to make you not do the thing that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like being a blue mage in Magic the Gathering, where I'm saying no, but in a different way, where I'm making you choose what few options you have, and then with my cards attempting to counter them.
Yeah. Not to change subject quickly, but Trevor, you mentioned this King Cold, and I heard a little bit from when I was sitting next to you during one of these games. Would you like to talk about that King Cold?
Yeah, so on the unawakened side of Frieza Planet Wrecker, you look at your top 3, you choose a Frieza or Frieza clan amongst them, and then you place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So you can, if you find 2 Frieza army, or even if you only find 1, you can choose to say fail to find, and then place energy cost of 2 or less Frieza clan at the bottom of the deck, and then at the end of the turn, he comes out into play, and then you shuffle your deck because you know it's at the bottom of the deck. Exactly. It's a Self-Awakener, which the deck kind of really needs to get to the backside to get that crit on the leader, activate battle. But it just free value every single turn. You awaken on your terms, and it's a 10k blocker too if you really need it and have gotten to the point to where you're at 4 life and you feel like you don't need him anymore.
Yeah, I really like that tech. I always glanced at that card when I was looking at red Frieza strategies. I never really found a place for him, but I always thought that card was really dope. And unfortunately, Jake had to play Dormant on you. Sad day, King Cold went bye-bye.
Yep. And just kind of like hop back to the fact that Jake was mentioning that his Tien deck was basically a hand control toolbox deck. The leader basically enables that, since when you awaken, you literally get 3 single strike bodies on the board for essentially free, and it's just so much value in the leader awakens skill that it allows you to free up basically 3 slots inside your deck that you would put other things because you have them from your leader awaken.
Well, honestly, it lets you pivot your whole strategy to denying what your opponent's doing, because you really can combo the tokens into each other, and you probably have 1 barrier battle card lying around. Like, it's very easy to piece together a kill when your opponent has no cards in their hand. And something that speaks to that is the Tien list that topped recently also ran Preemptive Strike in the main board. So a large portion of their strategy was just denying what the opponent wanted to do. I think that's an excellent point, Trevor.
Mm.
I'm actually pretty impressed to kind of see the amounted comeback that Trevor was making here. Like, I saw you resolve that Dormant and take out the King Cold, and it's basically the one lone topo against the 3 tokens: the Frieza, the Zarbon, the Tien, the Unison, the Meta Matcha token, and it just felt bad to see. And then Trevor just turns it around and really gives himself a fighting chance with that cooler.
Oh yeah, and the fact that he hit 2 tokens with it, it turns off the KO effect on my leader. So if I don't feel like I can kill him and I want to clear his board, that's going to become much more difficult.
Yeah. It would require you to play another TN at this point, correct?
Yeah, I'd have to play another battle card to reestablish the triad, and with both Chaozu's used, I'm going to be paying at least 2 energy to do that.
Yeah.
3 because the Goku isn't on the board, so I would need that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. My thought process was I was going to lose my cards anyway, so I may as well go ahead and play it, even though typically you want to play cooler on your opponent's turn. I was like, I just need to actually get stuff on board, because if I don't get it on board, it's going to my drop area next turn.
Yeah, so smart call.
Yeah, the TN leader, the ability to KO, like, it is a pretty costly effect to keep 3 TNs on your board. And with spot removal becoming more and more prevalent, it's really difficult to keep that on the board. But that is just such a powerful effect. And of course, it's 4 or less, but in a lot of situations, you want to keep your 4-drops. Like, if you're spending that energy to put a 4-drop on field, unless you're cheating it out for, nothing, then...
if you think about the 4-drops in the meta, like Topo, Bardock Ape, like a lot of these are relevant battlers, that you want to remove.
I know in our matchup, Jake, when I was playing Gotenks Maidens, I was so scared of that KO hitting my Jamez off field. Like, I was playing to the idea and playing around and using my resources just to remove tokens, which were really a non-threat to me, just so you couldn't get that KO off.
Maybe I'll awaken later game next time. Thanks for that.
Yeah, don't ignore what I said.
And getting hit by 2 Vegeta Lone Princes plus Bardock was rough this turn. Oh, I felt so bad.
Yeah, it's... I joked about it in an earlier video. I didn't get my Ribrians till 2021, and this is, I think, legitimately the first time I've gone for the full bore hand control win condition.
Yeah.
It's just such a...
Ribrian comes next.
It's just such a shitty way to lose. Like, it feels so bad that you did everything you could, and your opponent just takes away your ability to, play the game. It's such a rough matchup, and I think people are slowly realizing, like, hey, hand control is kind of legit. Like, it's real good.
Trevor, I just realized if you got that secret rare off, I am dead.
Yeah, well,
my entire board, you ripped the only negate in my hand. I'm at 4 life. You're quad strike. GG.
Yeah, well, that would involve me surviving the turn, unfortunately.
Vegeta Bardock effect Vegeta is absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
And then having the second Vegeta to use in an aggro push on a double strike or something. That is the Vegeta with the Bardock is essentially 3 cards worth of value inside of 1 card. Or more.
I might take out the 2 Paraguses. I'd just run 4 Vegeta, 4 trading blows, as disgusting as that is.
Like, that'd be the way to do it. Because I've heard some people say that, hey, like, Bardock on the Vegeta is not very good because you lose a super combo. But if you think about it, you're essentially getting 10k worth of extra combo off of that for the 1 energy and the +1, because the 2 cards from their hand could be combo cards. And of course, they can drop extra cards, but the power of extra cards in the meta right now, it's probably far more valuable to hit an extra card out of their hand than it is to hit just a 5k combo or a 10k or whatever.
And you could modulate your play. Like, if you're dying, ripping 1 card out of your opponent's hand isn't going to help you. Just keep that boy in your hand. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like turn 1 Vegeta, turn 2 Bardock, pop the Vegeta. Like, it's so good, especially when you have the black Goku to or the Goku Xeno to just follow up and apply crit pressure, warp a threat off field, warp key opponent's piece. Like, it's just good. It's just deny things. But I think that's it, as always. Time for final word stuffs. Trevor?
Well, don't really have much to say this week other than I'm looking forward to what we can bring you guys next set of art. We've all been toolboxing a lot of stuff in our, or at least I know a few of us have been toolboxing a lot of stuff in our spare time, and I'm really excited for next set.
So,
Absolutely. Jake, last words.
If you want to win, you have to practice. And if you want a spoiler, I'm playing green this weekend, but not hand control.
uh-oh.
I bet it's Majin Vegeta. Jimmy, last words.
Have you guys ever actually like seen like how big an anglerfish is?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see that post going around?
Dude, that blew my fucking mind. Like, I always
Yeah,
thought they were like tiny, like tiny little like balloon-sized motherfuckers. Like, not like I didn't expect them to be like the size of a small car. Who was gonna tell me? Why did it take this long to learn that?
Yeah.
Shit's whack. The Ghost of Bancroft will put a picture of the anglerfish on screen right now.
He probably won't.
Yeah,
But-
it's a slut.
But as always, read your cards, know your plays. Let us make mistakes so you don't have to. We wish Bancroft a soft return. And as always, fluff out.